Today, I'm going to share with you 3 steps to turn a critical voice into a supportive voice. I'm Marina Ormes here with your Astro Vibe for Friday, July 21st. And the moon is in Virgo. Yesterday, I was sharing about what that Virgo energy looks like, how it's showing up, how last night's pass of the moon by Mars and the Mars opposition to Saturn is asking us to bring bigger spiritual principles into our everyday habits, routines, tasks, practice, ways of engaging with the world in tangible ways. So today we continue with that moon in Virgo energy. And one of the things that Virgo is known for is criticism. So that can be good, right? If you have an editor work on your writing, you want them to be critical. You want them to notice the mistakes. You want them to find you want a proofreader to find the typos. You want an editor to be able to help you arrange your words in a way that are most powerful and effective. So you want somebody like an editor, a proofreader, to notice the places where improvement is needed. Say you have a repair person come to your house. You want them to notice what's wrong, right? That purpose is being served to observe, to discover the problem, what is wrong, so that we can fix it. So ultimately, that Virgo energy of a critical eye is necessary to see what's wrong, to see how we can do better, to see how we can fix it, to see how we can make it more beautiful, more functional, all the things. So when the moon is in Virgo, because of that, sometimes we have our critical voice show up in our head saying, you're not good enough. It's not perfect, right? We can see all the ways that something we've done is not perfect, not good enough, needs work, needs repair, needs fixing, right? It's that ability to see those things. And that is powerful, right? It's important. It's an important part of life. It's actually magic to be able to fix things and take things that were previously inoperable or broken or not, or ugly, right? That needed help. Take those things and fix them, make them beautiful, make them work well, maintain them so they last a long time, right? That's like really got a bigger purpose to it. Okay, but when the critical voice shows up in our head, sometimes it can sound like, you're not good enough, imposter syndrome, you don't deserve to be here, you're not worthy, right? Some of those kinds of messages can show up sometimes, and some of us have Virgo in our charts, and therefore we might be kind of dealing with this as a life theme that all of us have Virgo somewhere in our charts. Some of us, it's a bigger deal than others. So anyway, it's part of life. And when the moon goes into Virgo, it's an opportunity to look at that part of life. And so we're noticing these Virgo energies, we're feeling this vibe. And what we want to think about and be able to do is shift that critical voice to something that's more functional, right? Something that's actually helping us move forward instead of stopping us in our tracks. So what does that look like? I've got 3 ways to do that here for you. If I can pull them up, hang on one sec. Okay, so 3 steps to turn a critical voice into a supportive voice. So the first step that's going to be really important, and we often overlook this, it's really easy to go unconscious about this one, and that is notice the critical voice. It's easy, it's obvious, and it's the first thing we're going to skip over, right? We're not even going to notice that we're having that critical voice because we just think it's normal, or it's the way we're supposed to be, or we should be putting ourselves down, or we should be stopping ourselves and holding ourselves back because we don't feel worthy. because that's just feels normal, right? So step one is to notice you're even having that thought, that feeling, that it's there, that it's showing up in your mind, right? So notice that critical voice. Oh, I just had a feeling of that I don't deserve to be here, or I shouldn't be participating in this thing, or that I'm not good enough, or that I'm unworthy for XYZ. Noticing that you're having that is absolutely the first step to shifting it. So you have to notice it's there, first of all. So I actually recommend that you write it down, because these are really slippery little things. We notice them and then we immediately go unconscious again and forget that they're there. So write it down. Have like a shifting my critical voice journal, right? This might speak to some of you. Okay, so notice the critical voice. Notice what it's saying. Write it down. Write down what it's saying. Say, this is what my critical voice is saying, and write it down. Right? Okay, so it just the act of doing that takes power away from it, because it's no longer unconscious. Okay, so notice what the voice is. Write it down. Number 2. Get curious about it, right? Don't make yourself feel bad because you had the bad thought in the first place, right? That's just an escalating spiral. So to stop that process, you want to just really get curious. Like, why would I think that? Where would that come from? And, there might be some things for you to explore about your childhood, or how you feel about yourself, or what society, has led you to believe, or whatever. Get curious. Ask yourself, where is that coming from? Is it true, right? I mean, maybe there's some truth to it, and that would be good to objectively look at, right? So getting really curious and asking yourself, once you've written it down, right? You have to do step 1 first. Notice the critical voice and write it down. And then step 2 is get curious. Ask what it's saying and why, and where that is coming from. Okay, is it something you should even be listening to or not, right? Does it have real information for you, or is it just there to hold you back and you don't really need it? Okay, so number 2 is get curious, ask what it's saying and where it's coming from. Number 3, after you've noticed it, after you've considered it, so you wrote it down and you got curious and explored and thought about where it was coming from and whether you should listen to any of it. Number 3 is create just one positive reframe. So, and this can be a challenge. And so start with just one critical voice. Like, you might have multiple ones, but just start with one. Okay. If you can take that one and think of a positive way to think about this. And so an example would be, if you are feeling unworthy, ask, what would the positive reframe be? So maybe it is, why am I worthy? Journal about that. Why am I worthy? Like, if this is only partly true or completely untrue, what is the actual truth, right? So I am worthy, here's why, listing it out, talking about the specifics. I have qualifications in this, I have experience in this, I may not have this particular diploma or certificate, right? But I have experience. I've talked to this many people. I've read this many books. I've done, whatever it is for you. So really exploring and diving deeper into what is going on, what is the truth, and how can you reframe that in a positive? And then absolutely write down the positive reframe, because if you come back to it the next day, remind yourself of it, that can actually become a habit and a pattern for you to remember. Oh, I'm going to go to this positive way of spinning that, instead of unconsciously being pulled back to the negative one. Right? So you're starting with one. Once you feel like you've got a handle on that one, you can go to another critical voice if you have multiple ones. But this is a good process to do to come up with that positive reframe, and then remind yourself of it so that you can begin to make it more conscious and implement it in your life. And of course, this goes along with our self-care challenge, because what are you doing when you reframe your critical voices? But you are seeing yourself in a more positive light, which enables you to be more productive, more creative, more of a making a positive contribution, sharing your gifts, telling your story, showing up in caring and support for others, all the different ways that you might feel called to show up in the world, and from that place of self-care. That's why we're doing that, right? So that not only can you feel happier, more peaceful, experience more joy, more freedom, more abundance. These are all qualities that you might be calling in. And then, of course, what that allows you to do is to be an active, positive participant in creating solutions in the world. And again, I emphasize this, and I will emphasize it again right now. That can absolutely be done in baby steps. You do not have to be the one to change the world, right? You are you changing your world, creating positive shift in yourself that ripples out and maybe encourages others to feel more positive, to think about things in terms of possibility. And what could that look like in your life, in your work, in who you are, and how you show up in the world in creative ways. All right, that's it for today. So just to recap really quick, 3 steps to turn a critical voice into a supportive voice. Number 1, notice the critical voice, write it down. Number 2, get curious, ask what it's saying, where it's coming from, whether you should listen to it. Number 3, create one positive reframe for one critical voice. Write it down. Remember it, check back in with it. It's like an affirmation for you. You are learning to come more from that voice than the negative critical one, right? All right. Thanks so much for being here. I'm Marina Ormes. Let me know how your self-care challenge is going in the comments. If you don't know what I'm talking about, watch the last Sunday's video about the Cancer new moon that gave you 5 powerful ways to deepen your self-care practice. That's what we're working on together this month. Thank you again for being here. I am Marina Ormes here with your Astro Vibe, and you can learn more about me at astrologyheals.com. Thank you for subscribing, and I'm here every day. So check out the videos as we go through this moon cycle. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.